And we're on. Hey, guys, long time no talk. Well, long time no talk one on one. And the last time I did it, it was all in Vietnamese too. So I got rid of like 80% of my listeners. um, Today's gonna be the first time that I'm recording a solo session in English. I think I'm a little bit nervous because I realised I'm now larger level of understandability and accessibility. Got to turn that down. I can hear my voice too loud. Um, Especially because I feel like the prompt for for this week's topic is pretty serious, which is not exactly my strong suit. I'm pretty bad at handling serious situations. I can be quite. I don't know. It's like you're struggling to find the mix between. Yes, there's a time and place for when you want to be funny and things like that, but also like I don't. Oof. I mean, just getting right into it. Feels like I'm just talking about like a struggle I have to kind of distinguish between serious and not serious. It's because I want to be a comedian. I'm not a very serious person, but time and place, which I recognize. But I don't know. Just sometimes I feel like it's like you're encouraged to be yourself. And myself is always going to be that comedic, dark person who's inappropriate at most times. And that is obviously off-putting for a lot of people during different times as well. So I'm just trying to be mindful of that. Not to say that I feel like a certain comedic flair behind what's been happening with the situation of the hate that's going on for Asians in America. I think it's a very nuanced topic that we can definitely unpack and talk about. Sounds like an English essay. The point being, I think as an Asian person, I've always stood on the side of being able to point fun at our Asian humor. Simple tropes like Asian beatings when you're growing up, things like that. Yeah, you're always tapping into them. And I think when I first started hearing about all these Asian crimes, I thought my context is I live in Australia, and what I'm hearing about is happening in America. At first, I just went, obviously you understand the media's got an agenda, and I was worried to think that maybe like people were just trying to rile, the Asian vote up for certain political agendas. That's what I was thinking. I felt at the time I heard all these crimes against Asian people, I was thinking, you know what, like it's like a situation where crime happens all the time. We don't hear about every crime. It's just the ones that get reported and we listen in on, right? And they get reported for whatever other reason. I thought that maybe there suddenly was this oversaturation of reporting crimes against Asians to kind of sway a movement. That's how I felt initially. I mean, I suppose that goes to a testament as myself as a human, where we don't slightly desensitized, very desensitized, but also not reacting unless something like big enough and invokes an emotion. I don't. It doesn't move me as much to hear. Well, I mean, it does. These people, these usually mostly elder. When I at the time where I was kind of desensitized, and I think it just shows to show that we have so much going on in the media every day. It's like one after another. I think feel like there was a rest of shootings in America because of COVID. Now, boom, COVID's off, like loosening, I guess, because of the vaccines, and now everyone's shooting each other again, one after another, back to back. I think it's the first time they've had like a consecutive shooting in the same week. Like, there's not even enough time to mourn, like collectively as a society, just to be sad about that moment with something else happening and our attention is drawn. It's such a divisive time. So yeah, the initial start was this level of like detachment to hearing all these reporting of Asian crime. Of course, your natural thoughts and prayers, right? Everyone's naturally inclined to be in the position where we think that, what a sad situation for the person that happened to. But when you're constantly hearing this cycle over and over again, you start thinking, hey, listen, we've all got life to live, work and stuff to do. We can't have this level of drain that we're unable to attribute to every single tragedy that we hear. I mean, I don't know if that's testament to myself as a person. Maybe I'm just a bad person. um, but so yeah, that's mean that I didn't feel like a major kind of thing. I just felt at the time I just heard, yeah, hey, it sucks. Crime happened to my fellow Asian men and women. But there was just a sense of like over-reporting. Now we've just heard. I think it was. I made a note, but I'm pretty sure it's the 16th, the 17th of March. It was on the 16th of March in Atlanta. 8 people were shot dead in a shooting. 6 of those people were Asian, and I myself am most people. I feel like the initial thing was to jump to go, definitely Asian hate crime, and I think I'd count myself as one of the people who would go, oh, let's slow it down, let's make sure it's not something else. But I can't help how I feel inside, and I definitely feel like it was an Asian hate crime. I feel like it's a comment on. I think that's the shooting. I mean, the shooting itself is a crime. It's a horrific incident. As we step away from it now, I think as a historical event that's happened, because that's ingrained. For every Asian person, that's ingrained in our history. During this divisive time, race is always at the forefront of conversations. For our Asian community, we cop the shooting. And so I think as a historical event in human society, Asian human society, whatever, there's a commentary on that, in the way the world's a bit, and I'm not the first to jump in, these cis white males. No, it's not me. But I suppose, that idea of, there's a lot to unpack and break down before I get into things even deeper, but the position that Asians have in society, so I think that's a big kind of touch on.